Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Iron Class. Last episode, we had the last minutes of July. The Enforcer Samoa Joe made his debut for Paul Heyman. Leo Rush and Matt Cardona's feud is starting to kick off a little bit more. And Bryan Danielson made the official challenge to EC3. Of course, we're continuing the first half of August this time. But first, we have to make our summer pay-per-view. It will coincide kinda with SummerSlam. Add a new event. Let's go. So we make this on Saturday. I'll be completely simple. ICW Heatwave. Heatwave. It's that simple. I'll put the year 2021. Yeah. Active intent. No. Okay. I'll keep that as it is. There you go. So now we have some, I might change the name on Impact later on for when we get back to it. Because that'll be like that's the anniversary show basically. So I'll make sure to work on how we get to it. However, for now, we start working towards Heatwave. And that is sure to be fun. So before we get into the show, I saw this message, Bobby Lashley's contract's ending. Now what I could do is, well, try to sign him. However, I just want to show you how much he's probably getting paid for. Oh, okay, yeah. That's less than Andrade! He's only 18 months as well. Oh, wow, that's less than Andrade. I could try to fight that, but I'm not going to. Instead, I'm going to let WWE keep their champion. Like, I don't want to waste all this money trying to steal their guys, because that seems like a really bad business move. But, you see, I could have, but I'm not going to, because I wasted 80k on Bryan. I'm not 8k on Bryan and 50k on Joe. I don't want to go through it with Bobby Lashley as well. It actually seems too dumb. We start off the show somewhere in the 38. Jacob Fatu versus Ross Von Erich in a terrible match. Ross Von Erich defeats Jacob Fatu in 14:09 with a roll up. Both seem to be off their game. I need to give a little bit of heat back to the Von Erichs. I'm going to have them winning in. Well, I want to keep Touch Crew looking a little bit strong. Because, you know, they lost last week. Now they're both in a match against each member of Von Erich. I'm going to tell you right now, they both lose. But I have them losing in ways that make them still seem strong. So yeah, Jacob Fatu gets a 42 here. Ross Von Erich with a 30. In any sense, the Von Erichs do not actually perform that good compared to others, which is not that nice for me. They send away the 42 post-match. Jacob Fatu, tries to attack and assault Ross Von Erich. He gets one shot in the back of the head, goes to start railing punches, and then Samoa Joe comes out and does the same thing he did to EC3. Had to go keep the clutch locked in, not fully, doesn't drop back, but he has it ready. And Jacob Fatu is trying to get out. He starts to try to get out, and then Samoa Joe locks it in tighter, and you can see him starting to get ready to fall back. But at this point, Ross Von Erich is left, and he just lets go. Jacob Fatu tried to get out, almost could, but at the end of the day, Samoa Joe's not here to fully avenge him for the clutch. He is only here to stop all of these beatdowns post-match. And this week, he's actually done it at least once. Yeah. And then we sent a segment rating of 28. Yikes. And I had to tell you, the time's down to 10 minutes because Fallah Bahh cannot do longer than 20 minutes because of his stamina, which is not good for me. In a terrible match, Marshall defeats Fallah Bahh in 10:23 by pinfall, losing the ropes for leverage, once again showing that can't win cleanly again. Can't win definitively against the Destruction Crew. Followed by with 28. Match followed up with a 40. Yeah, yikes. No investments in these two. Segment of 52. EC3. He now knows he has the opportunity to win the title. Bryan Danielson has given him that chance. Because he's doing it for his own reason of wanting to, shut up EC3. EC3, like I said, as his plan working. Of course he knows the cliche of the champion challenging the challenger after the challenger attacks them enough. And EC3 has done it well. His plan worked. And now, at Heatwave, he has a date with Destiny. Basically, I'm making EC3 seem really smart here by, acting like he manipulated Bryan the entire of July. So, good on him. A 7 rate of 50. Curtis Axel making a one-night showing because he lives in the area and he's a local talent. So he's come in here, which is good. And Battle had a decent out from the crowd with subpar wrestling. EC3 defeats Curtis Axel in 15:02 by pinfall with a sweet meat sizzler. EC3 with a 50. Curtis Axel with a 43. So Axel having a good showing, but of course it's only in for the night to have EC3 win against someone who's not on our roster, so not that many people on our roster get taken down. Then the segment of 29, the following promo, of course, harping back to their days. Bob Backlund managed Fred Rosso when he was Darren Young in WWE. He was also a local talent, so I thought, I'll bring that in. And he's basically here to inspire Fred and Fred, because they haven't had the best track record so far in ITW. He's here to inspire them, so they start working harder in order to get the title match that they are trying to get and trying to work towards. AKA, look, it's a legend! Yeah, but it did not do good at all. That's probably ruined our rating. Segment of 44. Matt Cardona, after his attack on Leo Rush last week, he won't stand for a cowardly champion like Leo Rush. He wants a champion that will be open for all comers to try and take his title. For example, himself. And Leo Rush might be hiding away, deciding that only he gets to choose his champion against his opponents. But eventually, that privilege will be stripped away from him. And Matt Cardona will get the title shot that he needs. What does he need? The title shot he wants. He doesn't need the title shot. It's not like it's going to save his life or anything. He just wants it. And then, segment 51, Alex Shelley drew with Jeff Cobb in a decent match in 13:03 following a double count out. They both got a 50. That's good. Yeah, I don't want either of them to lose, so instead I had it that, Jeff Cobb is trying to get revenge for last week. Fight Alex Shelley, they fight, they go to the outside. Both of them ignore the referee, he's starting to count up, and both of them are just attacking each other, beating down Jeff Cobb. Let's say gets the upper hand by the end of it, starts getting more shots, lifts Alex Shelley up, throws him into the post, and goes to roll back into the ring, but the ref counts 10, and it's over. Then the main event of 54 for the main event in a decent match. Jonathan Gresham defeats Leo Rush in 16:56 when Leo Rush intentionally gets counted out. So Leo Rush, not really picking his own challenges. He just he picked Jonathan Gresham as an opponent, not a title match. So, it was fighting. Gresham was getting the upper hand. He went to hit his signature. He was going to hit his finisher. Leo Rush reverses and then rolls out of the ring. And Gresham is standing there. He's prepared for Leo Rush. And Leo Rush walks around. He's taunting the crowd. He grabs his title, lifts it in the air, shouts to Gresham that this was the closest you're ever going to get to the title. without getting close to the title. And he leaves. Lio Rush saw a situation where he didn't think he was going to win, so he ended the match on his terms. And the ref counts him out. Gresham did beat this national champion, but not in the way that he was going to. So it's currently for the international title. Gresham is a good competitor for the title, and Matt Cardona is a good competitor for the title. So you can see how that's going to work out. The show getting a 51, not as good as last week's, but still good. It still increased our popularity in 5 regions. Of course, Canada's still an issue, but we'll try to work on that. Yeah, I think the reason why we got a lower rating was because of the Vod Eric and Destruction Clue stuff, which didn't work out well for us. And then Bob Backlund's thing with Fred and Fred did not work out for us, but that's a good attempt, and the show still did average overall, so you can't really complain. You still can, but can't really. Okay, I find this really fucking funny. Cult behind WWE. The wrestling media was buzzing today after allegations that WWE is really a front for a sinister cult who worship an ancient goat god. Inside information was leaked to the press by an unnamed source. Was it to be verified, but motion is likely to be damaged by the story. I just find it to be fucking funny. WWE is now a worship to a goat cult god person. Sorry, WWE, but your goat god is now with me. So, L, stop being clingy. We start off the show, the final show for this episode, with an announcement that this week's episode of ICW will include 2 matches, 2 Pick Your Poisons. Bryan Danielson and EC3 will pick each other's opponents for tonight's episode of ICW Toxic. And of course, those 2 matches will be the final 2 matches of the show. Segment of 55. Next to start the show. Then we get into our opening contest, segment of 26. That's upsetting. But in a terrible match, Fred Rosser, after being inspired by Bob Backlund last week, defeats Griff Garrison in 12:54 by pinfall with a heat wave. Get it? He wants to go to heat wave so he can hit the heat wave. That's just funny. He got a 35, Griff Garrison with a 31. Pillman doing good work at ringside, and Pillman just being a gem. Then it goes to a segment of 43. We cut to... No. I put them both as fighting. Okay, that's on me. Segment of 43. So we cut the backstage, and Matt Cardona and Lio Rush are in a brawl. They just fight each other. When Samoa Joe comes in the feud and shoves them both into a wall. Both of them immediately stop. And then Joe pushes them away from each other. Joe, of course, does not talk at all. His actions speak louder than words. And both of them back up. They're eyeing each other down still, but they back up and they both leave. Joe resolving conflicts. Conflict resolution in a very painful way for the superstars involved. But, that's what happens when you try to start random brawls. Joe's there to, toughen people out. And also makes it also an excuse to have Joe on the show. So that's nice. Segment of 33, a pre-match promo by Sean Waltman with Jonathan Gresham behind him. And after last week when Gresham won against Lio Rush, of course not in the way he wanted to, still won. And then, of course, how he's been doing good so far in ICW. Waltman announces Gresham's hunt for Rush's title. Cardona's trying to get a title match by backstage brawls and just wanting it. Jonathan Gresham wants the title and instead is proving it in the ring every week against opponents that he is not expected to beat. opponents who is seen as better than him. And Gresham is taking all of them out. Just like he's going to do up next. And... Alright, we go here. And he does. In lane of 15, a poor match. Jonathan Gresham defeats Willie Mack in 15:08 by submission with an octopus stretch. Gresham with a 53, Willie Mack with a 43. So whoa. Look at that. That's nice. I don't still check it. I just do. So of course this has just helped to push up Gresham. He is on the hunt for Rush's title, and he's proving it with more display of, deserving the shot. Then we go into 7:47, a nice old tag match between the new team name of Full Throttle, Alex Shelley and Trey Miguel versus the Von Erichs. In a poor match, Full Throttle defeat Von Erichs in 12:54 when Trey Miguel pins Ross Von Erich with a Yoshi Tonic. Full Throttle has just defeated the Von Erichs clean. Yeah, those two deserve a title shot. Trey Miguel with a 46, Alex Shelley with a 52, Marshall Von Erich with a 42, and Ross Von Erich with a 36. Of course, getting that tag team specialist bonus. But of course, it's going to lead to, the early title run of the Von Erichs be left up in smoke. I mean, if they've just lost in a normal singles match, like a normal tag match, if that was for the title, they would have just lost the title in just over a month of reigning. Now that's an issue. And so by the 56, Full Throttle post-match promo, basically saying what I just said. They have proven why they should be the tag champs. They're going to continue to prove it. And at Heatwave, they'll get the title shot. They're going to win the tag titles the same way they won tonight. And they're going to hold the titles for as long as humanly possible. There we go into the first of two. I don't know how to say it like that. First of two. Pick your poisons. Bryan Danielson picked Chris Hero, the person he went against at Sudden Impact. 7:52, and about that had a distraction from the crowd, but subpar wrestling. EC3 defeats Chris Hero in 14:12 by pinfall with a meat sizzler. So he has beaten his poison. Pardon me. EC3 with 52, Chris Hero with a 46. So EC3 has overcome his poison picked by Bryan Danielson. And up next, we can see his Bryan Danielson match against Jeff Cobb. Segment rate of 62. That is very good for the show. Segment rate of 62. Of course, Jeff Cobb, fighting the champion. It goes over 18 minutes. He's having a great display against the world champion. However, in about the had good heat and decent wrestling, Bryan Danielson defeated Jeff Cobb in 18:26 by submission with a cattle mutilation. So he had the chance to prove himself and he just comes up short. Unluckily for him, but what can you do? Bryan Danielson with a 76, Jeff Cobb with a 48. And the show gets a 54, tied with the last week of July's show as the highest rated show. 54, yeah, it's just the fact that some of these things are 37, of course we had pre-show stuff, so more people are included. I accidentally had David Boy Smith beat Chris Bay. That's on me. Yeah, yikes, poor Chris Bay. I need to fix that in next pre-show. But you can see Fred Ross and Cliff Garrison didn't do as good. And the pre-match promo of Gresham and Waltman also did not do as good. And Full Throttle's promo did not do as good, so they used the two promos. And then the pre-show match didn't do much. Aside from that, I think this was a pretty decent show.